Earth, home to places so dangerous they defy human imagination. I've been to some of the most extreme corners of our planet, from the frozen wastes of the Arctic to the scorching sands of the Sahara, and I can tell you this world is full of surprises. These are lands ruled by unreal, otherworldly forces where risks lurk that no one can predict. They are places where the raw, untamed power of nature is on full display, where a single mistake, a moment of lapsed concentration, can be your last. You have to be on your A game, constantly assessing the risks, always thinking 3 steps ahead. Even though many of them hide in places no one has ever heard of, the gamble you take here is with your life. These aren't your typical tourist destinations, with marked trails and safety rails. These are frontiers, the last wild places where survival is a minute-by-minute battle against the elements. It's about understanding the environment, respecting its power, and having the skills and the mental fortitude to push through when everything is telling you to turn back. It's a test of your will, your knowledge, and your spirit. These are the most terrifying places on Earth. The spots that no sane person would ever want to set foot in, not even once. But for those of us with that fire in our bellies, that thirst for adventure, these are the places that call to us. They challenge us to be better, stronger, and more resilient. Today, we're going to take a journey to the edge, to explore the places where survival is the only thing that matters. So buckle up, this is going to be one heck of a ride. Our first stop is a place of brutal, beautiful isolation. Big Bend National Park in Texas, USA. Don't let the national park name fool you. This is one of the most remote and challenging landscapes in North America. Out here, you are on your own. The sheer scale of it is staggering. Vast desert, plains stretching to the horizon, punctuated by jagged volcanic mountains that claw at the sky. The heat is a physical presence, a relentless enemy that saps your strength and dehydrates you faster than you can imagine. Finding water is your #1 priority, and it's a life-or-death game every single day. The Rio Grande carves its way through this wilderness, creating immense canyons with sheer rock walls that tower hundreds of feet above. It looks inviting, but the currents can be treacherous, and what looks like a simple crossing can quickly turn into a desperate fight for survival. The wildlife here is as tough as the landscape. Mountain lions, black bears, and javelinas roam these lands, and you have to be constantly aware of your surroundings. A surprise encounter could be fatal. The desert floor is littered with cacti and venomous snakes like the diamondback rattlesnake, meaning every step must be deliberate and careful. But the greatest danger in Big Bend is its profound remoteness. If you get into trouble here, a fall, a snake bite, severe dehydration, help is not coming quickly. You could be days away from the nearest ranger station or road. Your survival depends entirely on your own skills, your preparation, and your will to live. You need to be able to navigate by the sun and stars, find shelter from the punishing elements, and source food and water from a landscape that seems determined to offer none. It's a place that strips you down to your core. There's a pristine, raw beauty to this place that is almost spiritual. The night sky, free from light pollution, is an explosion of stars that feels close enough to touch. Sunsets paint the mountains in hues of orange, pink, and purple. But this beauty comes at a price. It's a constant reminder that you are a visitor in a land that is powerful and indifferent to your survival. To venture into Big Bend is to accept that you are pitting yourself against one of the wildest places left on the continent. It's a true test for any survivalist. Next, we journey to the western Philippines, to an archipelago that feels like a lost world, Palawan. Often called the country's last frontier, this is a place of breathtaking, untouched natural beauty. Imagine limestone karsts rising vertically out of turquoise waters, hidden lagoons, accessible only by swimming through narrow crevices in the rock, and dense, emerald jungles teeming with life. It's the kind of place you see in movies, but the reality is far more intense and demanding than any film could capture. The isolation here is profound. You feel a million miles from the modern world. This land holds secrets that are ancient. The Taban Caves in Palawan are known as the cradle of Philippine civilization, where some of the oldest human remains in Southeast Asia were discovered. When you explore these caves, you're not just in a geological formation, you're stepping back in time, walking where our ancestors did tens of thousands of years ago. The air is thick with history and a sense of mystique. This deep connection to the past, combined with the raw, untamed nature, creates an atmosphere that is both awe-inspiring and deeply humbling. It reminds you of the long, unbroken chain of survival that has played out on these very shores. But this paradise has a darker side. The dense jungles are a maze of tangled vines, sharp thorns, and unseen dangers. Getting lost here is terrifyingly easy. The humidity is oppressive, and the risk of tropical diseases carried by mosquitoes is a constant threat. The waters, while beautiful, are home to saltwater crocodiles, stonefish, and box jellyfish, some of the most venomous creatures on the planet. A simple swim in the wrong place can have deadly consequences. You have to be switched on, reading the environment and understanding the local dangers. The sense of isolation is the real challenge. Many of the islands and coastal villages are only accessible by boat, and storms can roll in with shocking speed, cutting you off completely. If you run out of supplies or need medical help, you are at the mercy of the weather and the sea. Surviving in Palawan is about embracing this isolation, learning to live with the rhythm of the ocean and the jungle. It's about becoming part of the environment, not just passing through it. It's a place that tests your resourcefulness and your ability to adapt to a world where nature is still firmly in charge. We're heading high, really high, to one of the most formidable road trips on Earth, the Pamir Highway in Tajikistan. This isn't your average scenic drive. Known as the M41, this is a treacherous ribbon of gravel and broken asphalt that snakes its way through the roof of the world. We're talking altitudes of over 4,000 meters where the air is so thin it feels like you're breathing through a straw. Altitude sickness is a real and present danger, capable of incapacitating even the fittest traveler with crippling headaches, nausea, and confusion. It's a physical assault on your body before you've even dealt with the road itself. The route is a masterpiece of terrifying engineering, clinging to the sides of sheer cliffs that drop thousands of feet into roaring river valleys below. There are no guardrails, no safety nets. One wrong move, one lapse in concentration, and you're gone. Landslides are a constant threat, capable of wiping out entire sections of the road without warning, leaving you stranded for days or even weeks. In winter, heavy snow and ice make the journey virtually impossible, turning the highway into a deadly trap. This is a place where your vehicle is your lifeline, and a breakdown can quickly become a life-threatening emergency. Historically, this route was part of the ancient Silk Road, a path trodden by merchants, explorers, and armies for centuries. You can feel the weight of that history in the wind. The landscape is dotted with the ruins of old caravanserais, silent testaments to the countless souls who risked everything to cross these mountains. They faced the same dangers we do today. The crushing altitude, the brutal weather, the ever-present risk of bandits, but without the aid of a 4x4 engine. It's a humbling thought, connecting you to a long lineage of human endurance and the primal struggle against an unforgiving environment. The sheer, raw scale of the Pamir Mountains is what truly gets you. You drive for hours and see nothing but colossal, barren peaks and vast, empty valleys under an immense sky. It's a landscape that makes you feel utterly insignificant, a tiny speck in a world of giants. The isolation is absolute. You can go for an entire day without seeing another soul. This is a journey that tests not just your driving skill and your physical endurance, but your mental resolve. It's a battle against the elements, against the machine, and ultimately, against yourself. Now for a place of dramatic, moody beauty and startling isolation, the Faroe Islands. Floating in the turbulent North Atlantic between Iceland and Norway, this archipelago is a world of its own. These islands are the exposed peaks of a volcanic ridge, rising sharply from the ocean like ancient sea monsters. The weather here is the true ruler, a fickle and powerful force that can shift from bright sunshine to thick, disorienting fog and gale-force winds in a matter of minutes. This unpredictability is the first and most constant danger you face. One of the most surreal and dangerous phenomena here is the landscape's ability to play tricks on your eyes. The famous floating lake of Sørvágsvatn is a perfect example. It's an optical illusion created by a steep cliff face, making the lake appear as if it's hovering hundreds of feet above the ocean. While stunning, these visual tricks can be disorienting for hikers. A misjudged step on a fog-shrouded cliff edge, believing the ground is closer than it is, can be a fatal mistake. Navigation here requires more than a map. It requires an innate sense of the land, and a deep respect for its deceptive nature. Reaching the more remote villages is a challenge in itself. For centuries, the only way to get to places like Gásadalur was to undertake a perilous hike over a steep mountain pass. Until a tunnel was built in the early 2000s. This was a journey that postmen and villagers made regularly, risking their lives against the elements. Today, while tunnels and ferries connect many of the islands, that sense of harsh isolation remains. A sudden storm can shut down all transport, leaving you stranded in a tiny village, completely cut off from the outside world with only the howling wind for company. Surviving here means understanding the sea. The pharaoh's people have lived in harmony and conflict with Honduras in Their lives are dictated by its tides, its storms, and its bounty. The sheer cliffs, constantly battered by powerful waves, are home to vast colonies of seabirds like puffins, which have been a vital food source. But accessing these colonies, often requiring abseiling down treacherous rock faces, is an incredibly dangerous task. The Faroe Islands are a testament to human resilience in the face of nature's raw power, a place where life is lived on the edge, literally. Our journey now takes us to the northern coast of Spain, to a region that defies the typical sun-soaked Spanish stereotype, Asturias. This is a land of rugged, wild beauty, a place where the emerald green mountains of the Picos de Europa crash dramatically into the tempestuous waters of the Bay of Biscay. This is not a gentle landscape. It's a tangled mass of deep gorges, sharp limestone peaks, and dense forests that have remained untamed for centuries. The terrain itself is your first major obstacle, a vertical world that demands respect and skill to navigate. For centuries, this ruggedness created a natural fortress, isolating Asturias from the rest of the Iberian Peninsula. It was one of the few regions never fully conquered by the Moors, and that independent, resilient spirit is still palpable today. You can see it in the remote stone villages or aldeas that cling to the mountainsides, accessible only by winding, narrow roads that would make a rally driver nervous. This historical isolation has preserved a unique culture and a way of life that is deeply connected to the land. It feels like stepping back into a more primitive, elemental version of Europe. The Picos de Europa National Park is the wild heart of this region. It's a paradise for hikers and climbers, but it's also incredibly dangerous. The weather is notoriously fickle, with thick fog, known as la niebla, capable of descending in moments, completely blinding you and turning a simple trail into a deadly labyrinth. The karst limestone landscape is riddled with hidden chasms and sinkholes, some hundreds of feet deep. A wrong step off the path could mean you're never seen again. This is a place that requires constant vigilance and an intimate knowledge of mountain craft. And then there's the wildlife. Asturias is one of the last strongholds for the endangered Cantabrian brown bear and the Iberian wolf. While incredible to know they are here, an encounter in the dense forests is a serious situation. These are powerful wild animals, and you are in their territory. The untamed nature of Asturias is its greatest appeal and its greatest threat. It's a place where you can feel the raw, ancient power of the European wilderness, a land that has resisted being tamed and demands that you come prepared for a true, primal challenge. We're plunging into the deep, humid heart of Central America, to a place National Geographic famously called the most biologically intense place on Earth, Corcovado National Park in Costa Rica. This isn't a park you simply drive through, this is a dense, untamed, and truly wild rainforest. The air is thick, dripping with moisture and alive with the cacophony of a million insects, birds, and monkeys. Every inch of this place is teeming with life, a vibrant, chaotic explosion of biodiversity that is both breathtaking and overwhelming. This pristine wilderness was almost lost. In the mid-20th century, logging and gold mining threatened to tear the heart out of this jungle. The establishment of the park in 1975 was a desperate act of conservation, a last stand to protect one of the last great Pacific lowland rainforests in the world. When you walk these muddy, root-choked trails, you can feel that history. You're walking through a sanctuary, a place that was fought for. But that protection doesn't make it safe for us. The jungle is indifferent. It is a complex, living system with its own rules. The dangers here are numerous and often hidden. Fer de lance and bushmaster snakes, two of the most venomous vipers in the Americas, camouflage perfectly on the forest floor. You have to watch every single step. Rivers that you must cross can swell to raging torrents in minutes during a sudden downpour, and they are home to bull sharks that swim in from the ocean and American crocodiles. And then there are the big cats. Corcovado has the largest population of jaguars in Central America. They're elusive, powerful predators, and knowing you share the forest with them adds a primal tension to every moment. To venture into Corcovado is to accept a total immersion in the wild. There are few facilities, and guides are mandatory for a reason. Getting lost in this dense, disorienting environment is a very real possibility. Your survival depends on staying calm, understanding the jungle's rhythms, and respecting the wildlife. It's a place that pushes your senses to their absolute limit. You're constantly listening, watching, and smelling for signs of danger. Corcovado is a raw, powerful reminder of what the world was like before we paved it over, a true sanctuary where the wild still reigns supreme. Our adventure takes us to the heart of Brazil, to a place whose name literally means beautiful, bonito, and honestly, it lives up to its name. This is a region famous for its impossibly clear turquoise rivers that flow over a limestone plateau. Snorkeling here feels like flying through a giant natural aquarium. The water is so transparent you can see for dozens of meters, watching schools of colorful fish darting through underwater gardens. It's a surreal, magical experience that, well, kind of lulls you into a false sense of security. Beneath this serene surface, however, lurk hidden dangers. The limestone landscape that filters the water to such clarity is also responsible for creating vast, complex underwater cave systems. The Abismo Anhumas, or Anhumas Abyss, is a prime example. To even get to the water, you have to rappel over 70 meters down into a cavern. The underground lake is crystal clear but chillingly deep and dark. For cave divers, this is a paradise. But it's an incredibly high-risk environment. One equipment malfunction, one moment of disorientation in the labyrinthine passages, and there's no easy way out. The wild, unpredictable nature of this region extends beyond the water. The surrounding landscape is part of the Cerrado, a tropical savanna, and borders the Pantanal, the world's largest tropical wetland. This means the area is a crossroads for an incredible array of wildlife. Jaguars, giant anteaters, and capybaras roam the land. In the rivers you'll find anacondas, the world's heaviest snake, and caimans. While the main tourist areas are managed, stepping off the beaten path puts you squarely in their territory. The beauty of Bonito is always tinged with a wild edge. The real danger here is complacency. The water looks so calm, so inviting, that it's easy to forget you're in a powerful natural environment. Sudden tropical storms can cause flash floods, turning a gentle stream into a destructive torrent. The clarity of the water can mask strong undercurrents. It's a place that teaches you that even the most beautiful settings can hold unpredictable risks. Bonito is a stunning example of nature's duality, its capacity for breathtaking beauty, and its potential for sudden, hidden danger. You have to respect both to survive. We're heading into the Caucasus Mountains, to a region of Georgia so remote and formidable that it was never fully conquered by any empire. Svaneti. This is a land of myth and legend, a place locked away from the world by some of the highest peaks in Europe. The first thing that strikes you are the towers. Hundreds of medieval stone defensive towers, known as koshkabi, punctuate the landscape, rising from ancient villages like stone sentinels. They were built between the 9th and 12th centuries. Each one, a private fortress for a family to retreat into during times of invasion or blood feud. The very existence of these towers tells you everything you need to know about the history of Svaneti. This has always been a hard, dangerous place to live. The roads into the region are treacherous, winding through deep gorges and over high mountain passes that are often blocked by snow for more than half the year. Until recently, the journey to the main town of Mestia was a multi-day ordeal on a road that was little more than a dirt track clinging to a cliffside. A landslide or avalanche could cut off a village for weeks, forcing them to rely on their own resilience and resources. This isolation has forged a unique and fiercely independent people, the Svans, with their own unwritten language and ancient traditions. They are a people shaped by the mountains, tough, resourceful, and deeply hospitable. But the environment they call home is unforgiving. Winters are brutal, with immense snowfall and the constant threat of avalanches that can sweep away entire sections of a village. Summer brings the risk of flash floods and lightning storms that echo like cannon fire through the valleys. Survival here is a year-round battle. For the adventurer, Svaneti offers some of the most spectacular and challenging trekking in the world, but you're truly in the wild. The trails are often poorly marked, the weather can turn in an instant, and you are hours, if not days, from any help. You're walking in the territory of wolves and brown bears, The beauty of the snow-capped peaks, the ancient glaciers, and the flower-filled alpine meadows is breathtaking, but it's a beauty with a hard edge. Svaneti is a journey into a living museum, a place where the past is not just remembered, it's still lived, and the challenges of survival are as real today as they were 1,000 years ago. We travel now to a place that feels like it belongs to another time, an island south of mainland Japan shrouded in mist and mystery, Yakushima. This is a place of ancient primal forest, a UNESCO World Heritage Site where it is said to rain 35 days a month. The sheer volume of water creates a world of vibrant, super-saturated green. Everything is covered in a thick, velvety carpet of moss, from the forest floor to the branches of the towering trees. The air is heavy with moisture and the smell of damp earth and decaying wood. It feels less like a forest and more like a living, breathing organism. The kings of this forest are the yakusugi, ancient Japanese cedars, many of which are over 1,000 years old. The most famous of them, Jomonsugi, is estimated to be anywhere from 2,000 to over 7,000 years old. Standing in the presence of a tree that has been alive since the Stone Age is a profoundly humbling experience. It puts your own life into perspective. These gnarled, twisted giants have weathered countless typhoons and centuries of change. Their resilience is awe-inspiring, and they give the forest an almost mystical, sacred atmosphere. It's no wonder this landscape inspired the forest in the famous animated film Princess Mononoke, but this enchanting beauty hides a challenging and dangerous environment. The constant rain makes the trails incredibly slippery. The granite rocks and exposed tree roots become treacherous hazards, and a simple slip can lead to a serious injury far from any help. The island is mountainous and rugged, and the trails can be steep and physically demanding. The weather is also a major factor. Yakushima is directly in the path of typhoons, and these powerful storms can hit the island with ferocious intensity, causing flash floods and landslides that can wash away trails and bridges in an instant. The dense forest and frequent mist can be incredibly disorienting. It's easy to lose your way, and with the dense canopy blocking out the sky, navigation can become a serious challenge. The island is also home to unique wildlife, like the Yakushima macaque and the Yaku deer. While not typically aggressive, you are in their world, and it's essential to treat it with respect. Yakushima is a journey into a fairy tale world, but it's a fairy tale with teeth. It demands physical endurance, careful preparation, and a deep respect for the powerful ancient forces of nature that have shaped this magical island. Our next destination isn't dangerous because of wild animals or extreme weather, but because of a feeling, an eerie sense of being frozen in time. We're in Colonia del Sacramento, Uruguay. Stepping into its historic quarter, the Barrio Histórico, is like walking onto a forgotten film set. The cobblestone streets laid by the Portuguese in the 17th century are uneven and whisper stories of centuries of conflict. The colonial buildings, a mix of Portuguese and Spanish styles, are beautifully preserved but carry a haunting stillness. The town was a strategic stronghold, fought over for more than a century by the colonial powers of Portugal and Spain. It changed hands more than half a dozen times, each siege and battle leaving its mark on the stones and the soul of the place. You can feel that turbulent history as you walk the quiet lanes. The old city walls, the cannons still pointing out to the placid waters of the Rio de la Plata, are silent reminders of a violent past. It's this contrast between the present tranquility and the historical turmoil that creates such a strange, unsettling atmosphere. The sense of being in another era is palpable. Vintage cars from the mid-20th century are parked along the streets, not as a tourist gimmick, but because they are still in use, adding another layer to the temporal confusion. Gas lamps flicker on at dusk, casting long, dancing shadows that play tricks on your eyes. On a quiet, misty evening, wandering these streets alone, it's easy to feel like you've slipped through a crack in time. The silence is profound, broken only by the lapping of the river and the distant call of a bird. It's a place that makes you feel like a ghost, an observer in a world that moved on without it. The danger here is not physical, but psychological. It's the profound sense of isolation from the modern world, the feeling of being untethered from your own time. The eerie quiet can be unnerving, making you feel watched, as if the spirits of the soldiers, pirates, and colonists who walk these streets are still lingering. Colonia del Sacramento is a hauntingly beautiful place, a living ghost story. It's a reminder that the most terrifying places aren't always the wildest, Sometimes they are the ones that are the most still, the ones that hold the echoes of the past a little too closely. We journey now to a city that has risen from the ashes, a place whose beauty is layered over a deep and turbulent history, Dresden, Germany. Situated on the river Elbe, this region has been settled for over 7,000 years, making it one of the most anciently inhabited areas in Germany. You can feel the immense weight of that time. Before it was a city, it was a land of dense forests and marshlands, a challenging environment for early settlers. That ancient, wild past still feels present just beyond the city's edge, in the sandstone mountains of Saxon Switzerland. Dresden became known as the Florence on the Elbe, a jewel box of Baroque and Rococo art and architecture. But its history is not one of serene beauty. It has been a stage for centuries of conflict, from the 30 Years' War to the Napoleonic Wars. The city's fortifications and palaces tell a story of power, ambition, and the constant threat of violence. This long history of struggle and resilience has been etched into the very stones of the city, creating a powerful, and at times, haunting atmosphere. You walk through streets that have seen both incredible splendor and unimaginable suffering. The most profound scar on the city's soul came in February 1945 during the final months of World War II. In a series of devastating bombing raids, the historic heart of the city was almost completely obliterated, creating a firestorm that consumed tens of thousands of lives. The Frauenkirche, the city's magnificent cathedral, collapsed into a mountain of rubble. For decades, it was left as a ruin, a stark and haunting memorial to the horrors of war. The atmosphere in a place that has witnessed such destruction is heavy, charged with memory and loss. Today, Dresden has been painstakingly rebuilt. The Frauenkirche stands tall again, a symbol of reconciliation and rebirth. Yet, you cannot walk through the restored old town without feeling the ghosts of the past. The contrast between the brilliant reconstruction and the knowledge of the absolute devastation that lay here is deeply unsettling. It's a place that forces you to confront the darkest aspects of human history. The danger in Dresden is not from nature, but from memory. It's a haunting reminder of how quickly beauty can be destroyed, and the enduring power of history to shape a place's very soul. Our next destination is a place where the mountains fall directly into the sea, creating a landscape so dramatic it feels otherworldly, the Bay of Kotor in Montenegro. This isn't a true fjord, but a ria, a submerged river canyon, flooded by the rising Adriatic Sea. The result is a winding, snake-like body of water surrounded by towering black limestone mountains that create a sense of profound enclosure. When you're on the water, you feel small, walled in by the immense brooding peaks that seem to lean over you, casting deep shadows even at midday. The bay's strategic location made it a coveted prize for centuries. The ancient city of Kotor, tucked into the bay's innermost corner, is a labyrinth of medieval streets and squares built by the Venetians. But the real testament to the bay's dangerous past is the incredible system of fortifications that spiderweb up the mountainside behind the town. Climbing these 1,350 steps to the fortress of San Giovanni is a grueling task, but it reveals the sheer effort it took to defend this place. Every stone was hauled up this treacherous slope to create a bastion against invaders. The atmosphere here feels surreal, almost timeless. The water is often unnaturally still, reflecting the mountains like a perfect, dark mirror. On a misty morning, the tiny islands of Our Lady of the Rocks and St. George, each with its own chapel, appear to float in a void between water and sky. This stillness can be deceptive. The Bura, a ferocious and unpredictable wind, can suddenly sweep down from the mountains, turning the placid bay into a churning cauldron in minutes, a serious danger for any small boat caught out on the water. There's a sense of being in a sunken world, a place disconnected from the normal flow of time. The combination of the dramatic, almost oppressive landscape and the ancient fortified towns creates a feeling of being trapped in a beautiful historical prison. It's a place that feels both serene and deeply intimidating. The Bay of Kotor is a powerful reminder that some of the most stunning places on Earth are forged from geological and historical violence, leaving behind a landscape that is as haunting as it is beautiful. We're going to the heart of Central Asia, to a place that truly feels like the edge of the world, the Tien Shan Mountains in Kyrgyzstan. The name means celestial mountains, and it's easy to see why. This is a vast remote mountain range of staggering scale, with colossal snow-covered peaks, including several over 7,000 meters high, piercing a brilliant blue sky. The air is thin and crisp, and the silence is absolute, broken only by the wind or the distant cry of an eagle. This is not a place for the faint of heart. This is raw, high-altitude wilderness on a colossal scale. The conditions here are extreme and unforgiving. In winter, temperatures plummet to -30 degrees Celsius or lower, and the landscape is buried under meters of snow. In summer, the sun is intense at this altitude, but violent thunderstorms can materialize out of nowhere, bringing hail and flash floods. The terrain is a brutal mix of vast, grassy plains, known as J-Lus, deep, forested valleys, and immense glaciers that creak and groan like living things. Navigating this landscape requires serious mountaineering skill and experience. A simple twisted ankle can become a life-threatening situation when you are days away from the nearest settlement. This is the land of the nomad. For centuries, Kyrgyz people have lived a semi-nomadic life, moving their herds of sheep, horses, and yaks to the high-altitude summer pastures. Their yurts are a common sight on the J-Lus, and their resilience is incredible. They live in harmony with this brutal environment, a testament to human adaptability. But for an outsider, this world is fraught with peril. The isolation is total. There are no marked trails, no ranger stations, no cell service. You are completely and utterly on your own, relying on your map, your compass, and your wits. There's a feeling of immense freedom here, but it's a freedom that comes with immense responsibility. You are a tiny, insignificant figure in a landscape of giants. Looking out from a high pass over endless waves of peaks stretching to the horizon in every direction, you feel the true power and indifference of nature. This is a place that strips away all the noise of the modern world and leaves you with just the basics: the mountain, the sky, and your own heartbeat. The Tien Shan is a true test of survival, a journey to a place where the world feels new, untamed, and incredibly powerful. Our next adventure takes us to a remote archipelago in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, a place of stunning green landscapes and simmering danger, the Azores, Portugal. These 9 volcanic islands are essentially the peaks of some of the world's tallest underwater mountains, located right on the junction of 3 tectonic plates: the Eurasian, African, and North American plates. This geological instability is the source of both their dramatic beauty and their greatest threat. The ground beneath your feet is not as solid as it seems. The islands are a paradise of emerald green pastures, crater lakes of impossible blue, and coastlines of black volcanic rock. But this beauty is a direct result of violent geological forces. The landscape is dotted with fumaroles, hot springs, and calderas, constant reminders of the molten magma churning just below the surface. The town of Furnace on São Miguel Island is built inside a dormant volcanic crater, and the locals use the geothermal heat to cook food in underground pits. It's an incredible way to live with nature, but it's also living on a ticking time bomb. The Azores have a long and terrifying history of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. In 1998, a major earthquake struck the islands of Faial and Pico, causing massive destruction and reminding the inhabitants of the constant, unpredictable threat. In the 1950s, the Capelinos volcano erupted off the coast of Faial, adding a whole new piece of land to the island over the course of a year. To live here is to accept that at any moment, the earth could shake, split open, or explode. It's a gamble that the Azorean people have taken for centuries. The weather here is also a formidable force. Being isolated in the mid-Atlantic, the islands are at the mercy of powerful oceanic storms. The weather can change in an instant with thick fog, torrential rain, and hurricane-force winds, making travel by sea or air impossible, and hiking incredibly dangerous. The wild, unpredictable forces of nature are on full display in the Azores. It's a place that showcases the creative and destructive power of our planet, in equal measure a beautiful but volatile frontier, where every stunning vista is a reminder of the powerful, untamable forces that created it. For our final destination, we descend from the high peaks of Nepal into its hot, humid lowlands, to a place of dense jungle and hidden giants, Chitwan National Park. This is a world away from the icy Himalayas. Here, tall elephant grass, growing up to 20 feet high, creates a dense, disorienting maze. The air is thick with the buzz of insects and the calls of exotic birds. This was once a royal hunting ground, a malarial swamp that was largely inaccessible. That very inhospitality is what preserved it as one of the last great refuges for some of Asia's most iconic wildlife. Chitwan is a success story for conservation. It's one of the best places in the world to see the greater one-horned rhinoceros, a prehistoric-looking beast that was brought back from the brink of extinction. But sharing a space with these 2-ton armored animals is a serious business. They can be incredibly aggressive, especially a mother with a calf, and they can charge at speeds of up to 30 miles per hour. When you're on a walking safari, moving through that tall grass, every rustle, every snapped twig, puts you on high alert. You are not at the top of the food chain here. The sense of danger lurking in the shadows is constant. The park is also home to a healthy population of Bengal tigers. These are the apex predators of the jungle, masters of stealth and ambush. While sightings are rare, their presence is always felt. Finding their tracks in the mud is a chilling and thrilling reminder that you are being watched. On top of that, the rivers and marshes are home to mugger crocodiles and the critically endangered gharial, with its long, thin snout. And let's not forget the sloth bears, which, despite their name, are notoriously unpredictable and aggressive. Exploring Chitwan, whether on foot, by jeep, or in a dugout canoe, is an exercise in vigilance. The dense jungle can feel claustrophobic, the tall grass obscuring your view and hiding whatever might be just a few feet away. A guide is not a luxury, it's a necessity for survival. They know how to read the signs, how to listen to the jungle's warning calls. Chitwan is a raw, primal experience. It's a place where you come face to face with the immense power and danger of the natural world, a thrilling and humbling reminder of your own vulnerability. From the scorching deserts of Texas to the ancient forests of Japan, from the roof of the world in Tajikistan to the volcanic heart of the Atlantic, we've journeyed to the planet's most extreme, most demanding, and most terrifying corners. These are the places where nature still rules, where every step is a risk, and where only the bravest dare to venture. They are landscapes that test your limits, push you beyond what you thought was possible, and strip you down to your very essence. Survival here isn't a game. It's a constant, moment-to-moment reality. These environments demand respect. They demand preparation, skill, and an unwavering mental fortitude. But they also offer a reward that you can't find anywhere else. A profound connection to the raw, untamed power of our planet. To stand in these places is to feel truly alive, to have your senses firing on all cylinders, to be completely present in the moment. It's a reminder that despite all our technology and all our progress, there are still frontiers where the old rules apply, where the wild reigns supreme. This spirit of adventure, of pushing into the unknown, is what drives us forward. It's what makes us human. These places challenge us, and in doing so, they help us understand ourselves and our place in the world a little better. They are terrifying, yes, but they are also magnificent. Would you ever visit any of these terrifying places? Let us know in the comments below, and remember, always be prepared, stay sharp, and get out there and have your own adventures.